You don't need more goals. You need something stronger. Something that doesn't rely on how you feel or what's happening around you. Something that works when motivation is gone, when energy is low, and when life gets messy. Most people set goals, but most people don't change. Because goals sound good at first until life gets in the way, until the pressure builds, until doubt shows up. That's why the winners in life don't just set goals, they build systems. A system is what you fall back on when everything else falls apart. It's what carries you when you don't have the strength to carry yourself. It's what turns dreams into habits and habits into progress. It's not about being perfect, it's about being consistent. It's about showing up for yourself every day, not just when it's convenient. You don't have to be the smartest person in the room. You don't need the best background. But if you have a system, and if you follow it, you will win. This video is not for people who want a quick fix. This is for the person who's tired of starting over, tired of chasing motivation, tired of writing goals only to forget about them in a week. This is for the one who's ready to stop hoping and start building. If you're serious about changing your life, it won't happen through wishful thinking. It'll happen when you build a system that works and commit to it like your future depends on it. Because it does. This is the difference between trying and becoming, between random effort and reliable results, between staying stuck and moving forward. And once you understand the system, your life will never be the same again. Chapter 1. Focus on daily actions, not just end results. Every great outcome begins with action. You repeat over and over. But most people wake up thinking about what they want, yet don't know how they're going to reach it. They set a big deadline 6 months away and then feel overwhelmed by the gap. That gap scares them, and they stall. They focus on the future result instead of the things they do today. And when days pass without action, the results never arrive. It's time to shift. Instead of chasing the big vision, invest in what you do every morning, every hour, every day. That's where growth happens. Because it's not about the goal sitting in the distance. Progress lives in daily habits, small forms of consistency that build muscle over time. When you wake up, before distractions fill your mind, decide what action you will take today. Not some vague idea of success, but a small, concrete step. Maybe it's opening the book, writing 2 paragraphs, sending 1 message, or walking for 15 minutes. Choose the action and do it without fail. That tiny decision becomes the foundation of a system that over time becomes unbreakable. This daily focus changes how you live. You begin to feel energy shift. Your nervousness becomes excitement. You feel the weight of your own commitment. You wake in the morning already moving. That feeling builds confidence. You sense momentum in your bones. Your chest tightens with purpose. And before long, the big goal doesn't feel far away. It begins to move closer with each repeated action. Systems free you from overwhelm. They free you from waiting for the right mood. You don't need inspiration to show up. You just need the system. If the system says read 1 page, you read 1 page. If it says work 1 hour, you work 1 hour, you show up day after day, month after month, and you start to see results, unexpectedly smooth, gradual, steady, powerful. That consistency shifts your identity. You stop being someone who talks about what they will achieve. You start becoming someone who does what needs to be done. And here's the turning point. The person you become is more important than the results themselves. And that person is built 1 small action at a time. Through these repeated decisions, you become someone disciplined, effective, focused, and unstoppable. Every time you follow the system, even when no one is watching, you strengthen self-respect. You remind yourself that you can follow through. That fuels confidence. That fuels long-term resolve. You break the cycle of starting and stopping. You build trust in yourself that doesn't depend on motivation. You stop relying on emotion and start relying on routine. You'll find your mind begins to clear, wasted time fades. You stop checking your phone first thing. You stop drifting. Your attention becomes sharper because you're orientated toward daily steps instead of future fantasies. Your plans become actionable not overwhelming. You measure what you do, not just what you want. Your focus shifts, your energy aligns, your momentum grows. This is the difference between winners and wishers. Those who chase goals without a system burn half their energy in planning and fearing failure. Those who build systems don't worry about tomorrow's result. They trust the process today. They anchor themselves to the action, not the outcome, and that anchors their results too. There will be friction. Days when you feel tired, discouraged, or distracted, but the system doesn't care how you feel. The system simply requires the repetition. And when you push through just one more page, one more minute, one more task, it builds resistance. Your mind begins to crave the system more than the mood, and that's when change becomes inevitable. You control the direction of your life by controlling your daily actions. When you rely on results, you react to outcomes you don't see yet. But when you rely on the system, you control the environment you live in. You shape your day so your habits support your future. And over time, those habits compound. You notice later that your life has changed not because you achieved a goal, but because you became the kind of person who earns those results naturally. This system-based thinking transforms how you approach everything. Your health, your work, your learning, your relationships. Instead of pushing to achieve something by a deadline, you let daily action stack so steadily that reaching the goal becomes a byproduct, not a burden. And you stop chasing trophies. You build systems that reward you consistently with energy, discipline, and peace of mind. So from today, shift your focus. Stop obsessing over end results. Choose the daily action that aligns with your values. Commit to doing it daily, even when you don't feel like it. Track it, honor it. Let that action speak louder than your desire. Let consistency become your identity. And watch how that system creates results you never thought possible. Chapter 2, build routines that align with your values. Your routines aren't just schedules. They reflect what matters most to you. When your daily habits align with your values, you wake up with purpose. Your body, your mind, and your energy all come into harmony. But when routines clash with what you believe is important, you end up doing things that feel empty, forced, or unfulfilling. Think of how you live each morning, afternoon, and evening. What do you prioritize first? What anchors your day? If your routine doesn't connect with something that matters deeply, you'll drift. You'll do things that make you feel busy but leave you unsatisfied. You might get places in life, but they won't be the places your heart actually wants to go. Start by identifying your values, those inner priorities like growth, health, learning, family, service, or creative expression. Write them down. Not for show, but so you can look at them when schedules get tight. When a day arrives that demands your time, you ask, does what I choose feel meaningful to me? If the answer is yes, you choose it. If no, you don't. And that simple evaluation reorients how you spend your time. Once your values are clear, build routines that reflect them. If you value growth, plan time to read, listen, or study daily. If you value health, set small daily movement or sleep habits. If connection matters, schedule time with people you care about. These pieces don't need to be big gestures, just consistent. You don't win by doing more, you win by doing what matters every day. Emotional and sensory connection with your routine matters too. Walk into a space where your habit lives. Maybe it's a corner with your favorite book, a journal, or a pair of shoes for walking. Feel the texture, smell the space, hear the quiet when you sit down. That sensory moment reminds you what value you're honoring. It ties your routine to something meaningful, not just mechanical. When your routine echoes your inner values, discipline becomes easier. You don't force it. Instead, you show up because it feels good to serve your core. Your heart aligns with your action, and that alignment becomes strength. You move with purpose instead of emptiness. That sense of purpose rebuilds your confidence day by day. Your routine also shapes your identity. If reading for personal growth is part of your system, you become someone who reads. If daily gratitude is part of your routine, You become a thankful person. Once habits match values, your identity shifts quietly but surely. Other people hear it in your voice. They feel it in your attention. They see it in who you become. And success flows naturally from alignment, not intensity. Mistakes will happen. You'll skip days. You'll feel tired. But because you built your routine around your values, there's a deeper anchor. You don't quit because the routine feels like punishment. You return because the routine feels like self-care. And each return rebuilds momentum. It deepens your connection to what matters. When challenges show up, deadlines, travel, stress, your aligned routine acts like a compass. Even if you do less, you do it on the terms of your values. You don't break rhythm entirely. You get back to center faster. You stay anchored in what's true for you, not what's demanded by chaos. A system built on values also reduces friction in decisions. When opportunity or distraction comes, you check, does it serve my routine or derail it? If it undermines values, you say no. If it aligns, you say yes. That clarity becomes liberating. You're no longer reactive or overwhelmed. You're intentional. You decide, you stay focused on what matters most. And over time, the many little daily moments accumulate into powerful change. Relationships deepen, knowledge transfers, energy strengthens, and confidence grows, all because you showed up consistently in ways that mattered. Your life changes not because of rare successes, but because of aligned practice. In daily life terms, you don't just exercise when you have time, you move your body because you value strength. You don't just learn when you get motivated. You read or listen because you value growth. You don't just connect when you're free. You reach out because you value relationships. That shift changes everything about how daily life feels. You stop settling for empty productivity. You start feeling what matters, step by step. That's what a system based on values looks like. It's not rigid, it's not judgmental, it's personal. It fits your life. It shapes your environment. It reflects what you care about. And most important, it keeps you coming back because you know what it stands for. A life built this way won't feel exhausting. It won't leave you wondering why you're working so hard. Instead, you feel motivated because your habits honor what matters. You feel powerful because your energy is channeled toward direction, not diversion. You feel fulfilled because you live according to your values, not someone else's expectations. If you want a system that changes your life, start with your values. Design routines that reflect them. Honor your priorities every single day. Track the habits, not the outcomes. Choose what feels authentic. Let consistency build your identity. Because when your routine and your soul align, your life begins to move as one. You don't chase goals anymore. You simply show up to who you already intend to become, and over time you become them naturally. That's power, that's discipline, that's the system that changes everything. Chapter 3, track progress through habits, not outcomes. You'll only change sustainably when you stop judging yourself by the results and start noticing your habits instead. Most people check their bank balance, their scale, their follower count, or some distant target, and feel good or bad based on that number. That kind of thinking undermines stability. You win one week and feel unstoppable. You miss a mark next week and instantly doubt yourself and your direction. Instead, anchor your progress in habits. Track what you do every day, not the results you hope to have later. When your focus moves from outcomes to actions, you become steady. You begin trusting the process rather than riding emotion. You measure your behavior, not your luck or circumstance. Notice how your energy shifts when you see progress on a habit chart. Maybe you cross off every day you read, write, exercise, reach out, or take rest. You feel momentum. You feel purpose. You feel accountable. You're not chasing what happened tomorrow. You're honoring what you did today. And that gives you control. Every evening, look back at the day and trace your progress. Did you do what you said you would do? Didn't worry about whether it felt hard or easy, just did you show up for the action? That simple question brings clarity. It cuts through wishful thinking. It shows you where you drifted and where you moved forward. That visibility builds self-awareness, and awareness builds mastery. When you track habits instead of outcomes, you reduce feeling trapped by results you can't immediately control. If your goal is weight loss, the scale bounces. If your goal is a business milestone, the metric can stall. But if you track daily habits, nutritious meals, gym time, customer outreach, content creation, you see what you control. You build trust in yourself, and over time, the outcomes begin to follow more reliably. That doesn't mean outcomes don't matter. They still do. But you no longer depend on them for your motivation or your peace of mind. You find meaning in the routine. That steadiness protects you from the highs and lows of uncertainty. It connects your worth to your effort, not your error or success. There's a sensory element too. When you track habits, it's more than a check mark. You feel the pen on the page, hear the scratch of ink, see the calendar fill. You feel small satisfaction in each completed action. That small ritual becomes psychologically reinforcing. It turns routine into ritual. That moment builds confidence. That habit stays longer than a goal because it's built with physical and emotional feedback. Tracking reveals patterns. It helps you catch what throws you off. Maybe you always skip workouts on Mondays. Maybe your energy dips after lunch and you avoid reading. Maybe your best thinking happens late at night. The habits chart doesn't lie. It shows where momentum builds and where friction arises. And that feedback is priceless. It guides your next step. You can track with a journal, a simple table, or even an app. The medium doesn't matter. What matters is consistency and honesty. Don't fudge the checks. If you promised yourself action, don't mark it off if you did less. That undermines trust in yourself. Be raw, be clear, be exact. The truth gives you direction. Over time, these consistent actions build identity. You don't say, I want to read more. You say, I read every day. You don't call yourself a creative thinker. You show up daily to express. That identity continues even when motivation fades. You don't abandon the system because it's already part of who you are. Habit tracking also builds emotional resilience. On days when performance feels weak, you still feel stability in the system. You ground yourself in what you did rather than what you felt. That prevents guilt, shame, or overreaction. You see a missed day as data, not failure. You return tomorrow, and each return strengthens resolve. That's the kind of momentum that outlasts the circumstances. If your system is airtight, the little mistakes don't derail you. You don't spiral when a habit breaks. You learn from it. You refocus tomorrow. You don't beat yourself up. You get back to tracking. That reliability strengthens your self-respect more than weeks of perfection ever could. The shift from outcome-focused thinking to habit-based tracking changes how life feels. Instead of being anxious about where you are, you feel steady in what you do. Instead of doubting yourself because of results, you trust yourself because of action. Instead of hoping tomorrow will be better, you build it today. Results will follow. But you become someone who earns results step by step, day after day. When others chase high highs, you stick to your system. When they panic over slow progress, you breathe and return to tracking. That calm faith in the process gives you a different pace, a pace powered by consistency, not emotion. And people notice, they hear the confidence in your voice. They see the calm in your decisions. They feel the strength in your habits. Set your system up so your daily routines feed your values and goals. And track those routines as indicators of progress, not the distant outcomes. That simple shift changes how you live. You stop blaming external factors. You own each step. Ownership builds power. Habit builds identity. Identity builds results. So start today. Define the routines you want. Choose how you track them. Commit to tracking every day, even if it's one action at midnight. Be honest with yourself. Feel the ritual. Respond to feedback. adjust when needed, and most important, keep showing up. This is how life changes, not in dramatic moments or giant leaps, but in the quiet nightly check marks that become proof that you're committed. That's how systems outperform goals. That's how consistent actions reshape your identity. That's how systems become the engine of progress. Chapter 4, design your environment to support your system. If you want your system to stick, then your environment must support it. You can have all the discipline in the world, but if the space around you is working against your progress, it will eventually wear you down. Most people don't fail because they're weak. They fail because their surroundings are silently pulling them in the wrong direction every single day. And most never even notice it. Your environment includes your physical space, your schedule, your tools, and even the people you interact with daily. It's not about just having a tidy room or a beautiful workspace. It's about shaping everything around you to make success easier and failure harder. You don't need more willpower. You need less resistance. Because when the right systems are baked into your environment, they begin to run on autopilot. That's where real change starts. Look around your life and ask yourself one simple question. Is this space helping me or holding me back? If your goal is to read every night but the book is buried under a pile of junk in another room, you've already made it harder for yourself. If your plan is to write every morning but your desk is cluttered, your tools are missing, and your phone is next to your hand, your focus won't last. People blame themselves for losing discipline, but they never examine the setup. The setup is where most battles are lost. Start by simplifying. Remove clutter from where you work, sleep, and think. Too many objects on a desk create distraction. Too much noise in your space pulls you away from clarity. Clean space leads to a clean mind, and a clean mind follows through on habits more often. Next, make your desired habits easier to do. If you want to journal every morning, leave the journal and pen where you'll see them first thing. If you want to start eating healthy, fill your kitchen with ingredients that support your goals and remove the junk food. If you want to build a reading habit, put a book where your phone used to be. Small changes like these remove friction. The less effort takes to start, the more likely you'll stick with it. And the more times you stick with it, the more your system becomes second nature. Think about how much your environment shapes your choices without your permission. If your phone buzzes every 5 minutes, your mind gets hijacked. If your television is the centerpiece of the room, entertainment always wins over education. If you work in the same place where you relax, your focus slowly weakens over time. It's not your fault. That's just how the brain works. It follows cues, and your surroundings are full of cues. So you have two options. Let your environment shape you by default, or design it to support you by choice. And this goes far beyond physical space. Your environment includes the people you let into your day. If your conversations are always full of complaining, gossip, or negativity, it drains your motivation. You're trying to move forward while being anchored by the words around you. If your closest circle doesn't respect your time, your values, or your goals, your system will never feel safe. You'll constantly be pushed off track. Even 5 minutes of exposure to the wrong voice can leave you doubting everything you're building. Protect your space. Guard your time. Be ruthless about what you allow in, because one distraction a day doesn't seem like much until it becomes 5, then 10, then your entire week is scattered. You can't create lasting systems in a chaotic environment. You need calm. You need order. You need support. That also means creating a routine that matches your energy. Some people do their best work in silence. Others thrive with background music or movement. Figure out how your body and mind respond to your surroundings. Don't copy someone else's setup. Design what works for your rhythm. If your energy is best in the thurn, schedule your hardest tasks then. If you lose focus after lunch, don't fight it. Plan recovery time. Work with your biology, not against it. And always remember this, motivation fades, but the environment remains. That's why systems that rely only on motivation eventually collapse. If your system needs you to feel inspired every morning, it won't survive a rough week. But if your environment is built for action, it will carry you through when discipline runs low. A cold shower is easier when the towel is ready. A workout is easier when the clothes are laid out. A healthy meal is easier when the junk is gone. These are the tiny wins that stack up over time. Take time each week to walk through your space and ask what needs to change. What's creating friction? What's encouraging the wrong behavior? What can be removed? What needs to be added? Build an environment that reminds you who you want to become, not who you've been. You are not just the product of your choices. You are the product of your setup. You can build a system so strong that even on your worst days, it carries you forward. And the first place to start isn't willpower, it's your environment. Set it up so the next action is always the easiest one. That way your habits take root. That way your routine becomes effortless. That way your system wins even when you feel like quitting. And when the world sees how consistent you are, how you keep showing up, keep doing the work, keep making progress, it won't be because of some superhuman motivation. It will be because you built a system that runs whether you feel like it or not. That's the kind of system that changes lives. That's the kind of system that makes results inevitable. If you want real change, don't rely on motivation. Build systems that make progress automatic. Your future isn't shaped by goals you write down once, it's shaped by the actions you take every single day. Stick to your system and you won't just hit your goals. You'll rise far beyond them. Start today. Build it strong, stay consistent, and watch your life transform.